Hi, I'm Brian Jordan, and you're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
So I got a call that said, this is Susan Bailey. And I said, yeah, but I'm sorry, I don't know a Susan Bailey. She goes, I'm Henry Aaron's secretary. And I went, yeah. She goes, Henry would like to talk to you. I said, yeah, okay. And he said, how would you like to fly down to Sarasota and look at our pictures? And I said, I would love to. He said, well, when can you do it? Jokingly, I said, tomorrow. He goes, okay, we'll take care of that. I'll meet you at the airport in Atlanta. Susan will have the arrangements. And then I get on a plane with Hank Aaron and fly down to Sarasota. He offers me a job, and I said, well, what team do you want me to manage? He goes, no, he wants you to be a pitching coach.
Hi, this is Phil Necro. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Most guys throw it this way. Put the ball back in here, hands come around, and these two fingers come into the ball. And stiff wristed, no follow throw, and just low up and goes in the bat and hope there's no rotation on. The ball comes in there and doesn't bother. It doesn't never do the same thing twice.
This is Kyle Wright, and you're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
One of my favorite moments for your career as of right now is actually this past week. It was a show of confidence by Brian Snicker. He left you in the game after bases were loaded. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, it was really cool. I went back and I saw that clip on Instagram several times. I'll be honest, I went back and I watched it numerous times. Kind of gave me chills a little bit. It was just really cool. I was kind of lost my command a little bit there. Still made some good pitches, but was definitely getting a little tired. So whenever he said basically left me in the game, I felt like that kind of gave me what I needed to get me over the hump to make a good pitch, get a ground ball back to me, and get out of that inning.
This is Matt Olson. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond. Yeah, it's a pretty cool experience. Not everybody gets this opportunity to kind of set up their roots and be somewhere long term that they grew up and have family and friends. So it happened pretty quick there in spring training, and it was just an opportunity that my wife and I and my family thought that we couldn't pass up. So just jumped on it, and it's been a blast.
Says, Chief, why don't you race Ralph Garr? I said, okay. Said, Ralph Garr wants to race you too. So we started on the first base line on the outfield line. We started, bam, took off running. I beat him by 3 foot.
Mike Fulton here. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
I'm Kelsey Wingert, and you're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Hey, this is Andrew Jones. You're watching On Deck with Tyler.
Baseball fans, you're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Hey everybody, and welcome into On Deck. As always, thank you so much for clicking the video. Really do appreciate it. We are live tonight to cover the Braves sweeping the New York Yankees. Gotta love that, and boy, have the Braves absolutely just taken it to the state of New York this week. Of course, tonight, a low-scoring affair. We'll get into some of the higher-scoring affairs here in a second, but again, tonight, the Braves do win it 2-0, completing the sweep over the New York Yankees. Gotta love that, but I gotta tell you, what I loved about it was not the 2-run shot by Eddie Rosario. It was the 6 innings thrown by Charlie Morton scoreless, only gave up 4 hits and 1 walk. So yeah, great night for him. 10 strikeouts. So pretty good night for Charlie Morton. I think that's a nice change of pace after his last couple of appearances. I think it kind of puts him back on the path. He did speak with Kelly Kroll and tell her that in the last appearance it might not have gone that great, but it did he did find something. So that was good to hear, and it seems to have paid off. Again, tonight he threw 6 innings scoreless. That's all you can ask for. That's pretty much all there is to tonight's game. You know, it's one of the rare, boring games, you could argue, though I don't feel that way. A lot of casual baseball fans would. A low-scoring game, but the pitching was excellent. The bullpen was great tonight. Pierce Johnson had a clean inning. Kirby Yates had a clean inning, and Raisel Iglesias did as well. They all three had a strikeout to boot. So, yeah, it was a great day for the Braves. Again, anytime the Braves do win, it's a great day for them, and it's a great day for us as well. From here, the Braves do go to face the Giants, which will be a little bit tougher competition based on where the current standings are. Of course, the Giants are second in the NL West, 9.5 games back from the Dodgers. But when you compare them to where the Yankees are as of right now, that's a little tougher competition. I still expect the Braves to continue on this just wave they're on. And we're going to talk about the offense here in a second. I want to really go deep on the Braves offense. Before we do really get into this, though, I did want to thank On The Go with CeeLo. As you guys know him, he allowed me to come on the stream not only tonight but a couple of nights ago and promoted the channel. So if you want somebody to watch during games, I am unable to do it, but CeeLo does it just about for all of them. As many as I get around to see, he's pretty much live for all of them. I keep my eye on him, but unfortunately I just don't have the time to stream it anymore. But no, he does a great job, and again, thank him for allowing me to come on. Maybe we'll be able to do just a few more. So thank you to him. I see him in the chat, and thank him also for popping in. That said, let's go ahead and establish the rules here for a second. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and of course, hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with everything we have going on here. And on deck, we have an awful lot going on. We try to do these streams at least once a week. I was on vacation last week, forgive me. But we do try to do these at least once a week, sometimes twice, depends on what we have going on. But we also do plenty of content that's not live, so make sure to subscribe. We cover the Braves, but we cover a variety of things all across Major League Baseball, so please do consider liking the video and subscribing. The easiest thing you can do is liking the video. Also remember, we are going to address the chat here in a few, and we're going to address as many comments as we can. But super chats do get priority. I have nowhere to go tonight, but if you want to be first in line, super chats do get you first in line. And also, they help the channel, so please do consider doing that. But no, a lot going on. The Braves have absolutely dominated here lately. And that's really been the story. I mean, they've been the topic of conversation throughout Major League Baseball outlets. MLB Network has done plenty of breakdowns on their offense. We're going to do one as well tonight because I think it's warranted. But no, I mean, they are, I think, on a 5-game win streak, if I'm not mistaken. 3 with the Yankees, 2 against the Mets. So they are doing pretty darn well. Against the Mets, they had a 7-0 game. They had a 21-3 game, which was beautiful, by the way. They had a 6-0 game, and then the Mets did win one, unfortunately. Hate to see that. Would have been great to get 2 sweeps over the New York teams, but we'll get what we can get, right? Against the Yankees, they had a game 11-3 in game 1. They shut them out in game 2, 5-0. They shut them out tonight, 2-0. So yeah, they've been pretty darn great here lately. Hard to find many mistakes. I know some folks will probably turn to the pitching, and we can talk about that. But one thing you can't say is that these Braves don't score runs. I mean, the last time they were shut out, I'm having to scroll quite a while. The last time the Braves were shut out, man, when was it? Hang on a second. I wasn't prepared for this. The last time the Braves were shut out was... Still scrolling. Still scrolling. This is live, by the way. We are still scrolling. I believe this shows you how rare it is. Man. Still looking. I am still scrolling back. We're as far back as May, and I don't see a shutout. So I might have missed one, but you get the point. You get the gist. They have been absolutely dominant, and that's all you can really ask for. But here's the question, and this is really what I want to talk about tonight, because this has been thrown around. Is this the greatest Braves team ever? And again, it's been thrown around a lot lately. Ben Verlander has said it. Tom Verducci has compared them to the Big Red Machine, of course, the 1975-76 Reds. The Mike Petriello from MLB.com says the lineup is one of the deepest ever, not deepest Braves teams, deepest in all of Major League Baseball history. It really picked up a lot of steam when Ben Verlander said it. This is, I would say, a month back. Now, as a homegrown Atlanta Braves guy that I consider myself to be, I would be lying if I said that I wasn't entertaining it as a possibility, even a month ago, right? What makes it the best, though? What is it? Is it the offense? Is it the pitching? Is it the energy? Let's talk about it. And there are some teams that I think you can kind of put up there to compare it to if you're talking about just best Braves team ever. Starting out with, I would say, the 1957 Braves. They had 95 wins. They went on to win a World Series, of course, starred by Warren Spahn, Hank Aaron, Eddie Matthews. The 1991 Braves, the worst of first Braves. The 1997 Braves, who had 101 wins. The 2003 Braves that had 101 wins. The 2021 Braves. I don't think they were necessarily up there, but they did win a World Series. In terms of the regular season, though, I don't think they compare. The 1995 Braves, which, of course, did win a World Series. And, of course, that one that Morgan Wallen sang about, the 98 Braves. There's a lot of great teams. Of course, the 98 Braves have the most regular season wins with 106. So there's a lot of teams to compare it to. I'm not going to get into that because I think, frankly, they're all great teams. I think any one of these years they had a great chance to win a World Series if they didn't. So it's hard to know. But let's talk about what makes this team a part of the conversation. Starting off with the offense. This offense is honestly what gets most of the attention, rightfully so. MLB Network, again, has done multiple breakdowns of how this offense works, why it's successful, and just, frankly, how it can be replicated, because a lot of teams, you got to think, are sitting there going, how are they doing this? Everybody knows about Atlanta's ability to hit the long ball, right? We have discussed that extensively on this channel. We have seen it everywhere. We see it every night. I mean, they live and die by the home run. But they're not just home run hitters. We're going to get to that in just a second. I think what's more important is their ability to score in the first inning. When I say that, everybody immediately will point to Ronald Acuna Jr. Again, rightfully so. Ronald Acuna Jr. has been outstanding this season, but specifically in the first inning. I want you to take a look at these stats. In the first inning, Ronald Acuna Jr. has a .411 average, .484 on base percentage, a .645 slug, and yes, 17 stolen bases. He has been absolutely phenomenal. So not only is he on base nearly half the time, he's also stealing bases at an extraordinary rate in the first inning. And again, it says an awful lot. Not only about the talent of Ronald Acuna, but the aggressiveness of the Braves. And when you talk about the aggressiveness of the Braves, you have to consider a number of things. Number one, the talent you have, but also the coaches, right? Managed by Snicker. We all know how aggressive Ron Washington is at third. I mean, these guys are getting a lot of praise now that I think they should have been getting for a few years, to tell you the truth. I'm glad they're getting it now, make no mistake. But all these guys have been outstanding for the past few years. They mix old baseball, new baseball. They mix the world of analytics into the old baseball mindset. They have been absolutely phenomenal. You have to talk about the Atlanta Braves coaches when you talk about not only the aggressiveness of the Braves, but also their success. So I wanted to include that in this. But beyond that, again, you know, it's not just Acuna. And when you look at it, I mean, when you look at what he is able to do, you also have to look at what the team is able to do. And I'm bringing this up, and you're going to see why in a second. Jason Stark presented this the other day. These are the players in all of Major League Baseball history with a .600 slug or better. Okay? There's only 6. So that tells you what kind of company what I'm about to bring says. Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Barry Bonds, and Hank Greenberg. 6 of the best hitters of all time. All of them would be Hall of Famers if steroids weren't a factor. The reason I bring this up, the reason I show you this, and I think this is actually very telling of this Braves offense. Atlanta as a team is hitting above 600 in the first inning this season, okay? That is astronomical. That is, I mean, that makes such an impact on your offense. And, they've been so good this year, and I think you're gonna like where I'm going with this. I have yet to address this. They have been so good this year that they have found themselves on social media being accused of cheating. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Marlins fans were on it for a while. Mets fans were on it for a while. I haven't addressed it because honestly, I didn't really know what to say. I kind of found it ridiculous. And let me be clear, there is absolutely no evidence that the Braves are doing anything nefarious or anything like that, i.e. the 2017 Astros. But there have been accusations and it's usually meant in a laughing matter, but that's how good the Braves have been. I mean, they've been accused of, they got to know what's coming. But best believe the Braves do know what's coming when they step in that batter's box. And there's a reason for that. Tyler, are you saying that the Braves are sign stealing? No, they don't have to. And here's what I mean by that. Harold Reynolds from MLB Network, he also is a former Seattle Mariner. He had a great breakdown of this on MLB Network. It is on YouTube, so I suggest to go check it out. Think about it. What is Ronald Acuna Jr. sitting on when he steps into the box, right? Probably a fastball. If he gets on base, it gets very interesting. And this is how much stealing impacts the game. What we're watching right now with the Braves is, frankly, a bit of retro baseball, right? The years of stealing and moving the runner over and that kind of thing. This is what when you hear a lot of old-timers say, oh, this isn't how the game is played. The Braves are playing it like it's meant to be played. They're bringing athleticism back. So if you have Acuna on first, the next batter is going to expect a fastball, right? And on and on and on. Because if Acuna's on first, he's likely going to steal and take second, right? The dude's pushing for 70 stolen bases this season. You have to throw a fastball if you have any chance of throwing him out at second, right? Unless you pick him off like that happened tonight. But again, the guy in the batter's box all throughout this lineup doesn't look much better than the guy at the plate. Right? If you're pitching to Austin Riley and you're like, man, I can't get him out, what do? I can walk him. Okay, now you have to face Matt Olson. That's the threat in this lineup. There is no getting out of it. There is no easy way out of it. Throughout the lineup, you have speed. I would say Acuna, Albies, Harris would be great examples of that. You have power, Acuna, Olson, Murphy, Riley, d'Arnaud, Ozuna even. You have guys that just flat out hit and get on base. Rosario, Arcia, right? Those guys matter as well. And not to mention the depth pieces. And yes, you have your superstars, but the depth makes the difference. We're going to talk about that in a little while. I did want to bring this up. The Braves in the first inning. This is just all of the Braves, not just Acuna. They have the most hits in Major League Baseball, 166. That leads by 32. Most singles, most doubles, most homers, they lead by 35. They have 35. They lead by 1. Most runs, 120. That's a lead by 31. So they have the most runs scored in the first inning in all of Major League Baseball, and they lead by a significant margin. They have the best batting average, 333. This is entering play today. Most stolen bases, 21. That leads by 2. So it just says a lot about this Braves offense, that they're able to do this as a team to be able to perform like this. It just says a lot. In 2023, they have the best team batting average with 275. Best team on base, 345. Best team slug. Best team OPS. Most homers. By the way, they have 231 homers as a team. That's before tonight. Rosario's not included in that, I don't believe. But if you look at that and you subtract all of Matt Olson's homers, if you subtract all of them, you would still have the most homers in the game. And I believe it's to the Dodgers with about 186. So just think about that. If you took away the leader in home runs off the team, you'd still have the most homers in baseball. So it says a lot. But I mentioned earlier that depth makes the difference, right? That's where I think one of the most overlooked strengths in this team has been, frankly, all year. Your Kevin Pillars, your now Nicky Lopez has really come out and shined. There's been a few of them over this season. But if you don't think depth makes a difference, I want you to look at the Tampa Bay Rays right now. And no, I'm not talking about Wander Franco. I'm talking about the loss of Shane. I always struggle with his name. Shane McClanahan. He's now going to Tommy John. They're going to have to battle that late in the year. When it comes to the Braves, though, they've battled losing Max Fried. They've battled losing Kyle Wright. And they've been able to navigate their schedule and have the best record in the game. So, again, depth matters. Albies is out. They call up Vaughn Grissom. We can talk about that as well a little later on. But, look, I mean, this is the first games that Albies has missed all year. You have 3 guys who still haven't missed. Matt Clanahan, thank you. Appreciate that. You have 3 Braves that still haven't missed any games, and obviously Riley, Olsen, and Acuna. So, I mean, you have guys that post up. You have guys that come in and hit every day. And if they don't, you have a night like tonight where a guy like Rosario is the hero, right? But you have so many different ways that this Braves offense can beat you, whether it's with small ball, with stealing and bunting, or whatever the case may be, if you need it that bad, or you have the long ball. You have so many different ways. This offense is so dynamic. And, Arcia is a guy that can come in. He's good for a hit every night, So it's just ultimately, the offense is what's going to get the attention, right? The offense is always going to get the attention. But one of the key factors, I believe, has been the pitching this year. And I know we've talked a lot about the pitching this year. I've talked a lot about the bullpen, with no shame on that. Because the bullpen, I thought, was the one that needed to be addressed. Not because anybody was doing anything bad, per se, not because the bullpen was just outright bad. They had the best ERA in baseball there for a time, at least the best in the National League. So it's not like they were bad, but if there was a weakness on the team, it was for left-handed pitching. Alex Anthopoulos solved that at the trade deadline by going and getting Brad Hand, right? And they also went and got Pierce Johnson and a couple other arms. So there's a number of things that the Braves have done to get better. But a lot of their moves have been within. I mean, when you look at the guys who they have gone to, when they lost Max Fried, when they lost Kyle Wright. Think about this. I'm just going to name a few pitchers who we haven't seen in a while. A.J. Smith-Shawver, Colby Allard, Dylan Dodd, Jared Schuster, and I'll just throw him in here, Alan Winans. Those guys were not expected to carry any kind of load. And I'm not saying that, Mike Soroka, we'll throw him in as well. Michael Soroka, we'll throw him in as well. Because those guys were not expected to be the guys that the Braves counted on. But they turned into that. And they did an excellent job. You can say that some of them didn't exactly have a great appearance or great appearances. But they ate innings, right? They pitched quality innings. They gave the Braves a chance, most of them. And if you had told me that the Braves in spring training that the Braves would have to play half the season without Max Fried, their ace, and so far all of it without Kyle Wright, I would have been very skeptical that they'd have 77 wins and a 12.5 game lead, maybe more now, in the NL East in mid-August. I would have been very skeptical. But the guys have stepped up. I would say specifically Bryce Elder. When you look at what he's done this year, yes, he's had his down spots, but look how young he is. Look at the role he's been, frankly, kind of forced into. I mean, he's been outstanding in that. Every opportunity he gets, you can tell that he makes the most out of it. And, I think that the pitching is something that has been very, very overlooked. It's not the most conventional way to go about it. Obviously, you'd love to have 5 guys who never get hurt, never go down, who you can count on, and go with that. But the Braves have successfully navigated without multiple starters, and they have the best record in baseball. You can credit that to the offense if you want, but the pitching deserves it too. And yes, it's a credit to the pitching, but it's also, again, a credit to the depth. Depth that a lot of people don't know that the Braves had, right? Because when you look at the farm system rankings, the Braves, I believe right now, are dead last. If they're not dead last, they're pretty close. And somehow or another, they keep finding diamonds in the rough. So I'm just saying, who does that revert back to? It reverts back to the front office. Alex Anthopoulos and his crew do an outstanding job. And, I think that when you look at the Braves and you look at the way they're built to last because they're not built for just this year. They weren't built for just last year. They weren't built for just 2021. That is Alex Anthopoulos' mold. And no one is irreplaceable. We all know that. But it's not just in free agency that I'm saying that. Obviously, Freddie Freeman comes to mind when someone says that. But it's also in, if someone gets hurt, we will find someone to solve it. So that's my thoughts on it. Is this the best Braves team? Is this the best Braves team out there in history? I don't know. They certainly have an argument, and we'll see how the season finishes. But they are certainly the most impressive team I have seen offensively in a very, very long time. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens, and hopefully they have a terrific postseason. I'll leave it at that. But no, this has been an outstanding performance. And look, if they get more than 106 wins, which is the 98 Braves record, who's going to argue that they're not the best Braves team in history? I won't. I might not agree with it completely, but I wouldn't argue it. Now, that said, let's get into what you guys want to talk about. The chat is open. Remember, Super Chats do get you priority. And also, do remember that keep it clean in the chat. Would appreciate that. And also remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with everything going on here at On Deck and, of course, with your Atlanta Braves. Let's see. Go ahead and go to Scooter Puff. Remember a week ago when the fan base was hitting the panic button on this team, how quickly things change. Well, that's the thing, right? And you're bringing up this one instance. I mean, this happens for me all the time, right? I mean, look at how people reacted when Vaughn Grissom didn't get called up to the majors, right? Or when Eddie Rosario wasn't exactly knocking the cover off the ball in 2022. When Ozuna, right? Fan bases get emotional. There's nothing wrong with it, but things do change. In terms of last week, the Braves are going to have down spots. They're not going to win every game. It's going to happen that way. But I think that they have a good chance of finishing the year with the best record in baseball. That's all that really matters. Let's see. Captain Spartan says, going to my second game ever Saturday. Can't wait. Well, you have a great time. Let's see. Yerald Antonio Vargas Ruiz. I took Spanish. Says, go Braves. Matthew says, howdy, everyone. Hey, Matthew. Richard Davis says, is everyone back on the wagon now? I never got off of it. Let's see. JD says, glad to see the sweep, but we have lost more than a few winnable series this year. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Well, just remember, I don't know what they're on pace to win right now, but they've also, think about what they've battled. Right, and you can debate is this the best Braves team in baseball? I'm not here campaigning that they are. They have another 20, 40 games to go. I mean, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I am saying is I think that they have a chance to be. It depends how they. To me, it depends how they finish the season. Because to me, you're not really in that conversation if you don't win a World Series. But the '98 Braves are kind of undeniable. That's why I included them. They have 106 wins. There's been a few teams in history that you could argue. But no, I'm not here campaigning that this is the best Braves team. I will say it's the most excited I've been to watch the Braves in a very long time. I'm 24 years old, so born in 99. Obviously, I didn't see the 90s, but I understand how significant those years were. 14 straight is not lost on me, but This team is something special, and I know that not only because of how good they are compared to the past 23, 24 years of Braves I've watched, but also the way they compete against everybody else. I mean, they rank up there, no doubt. Matthew says, hit the like and subscribe, everyone. It's easy and free, and I'll even put it on discount for you. It's less than free. Gene, how's it going, man? Rob, how's it going? Corey Carter. It's crazy how great a job AA and his staff have done bringing in guys who can help the team late in the season. Yeah, who would have thought that Nicky Lopez would have been the asset that he has been so far with Atlanta? I mean, it's been fun to watch, no doubt about it. And, I think that ultimately AA looked at the team, realized there wasn't a whole lot to improve. Left-handed pitching, maybe another depth piece. He went and got a guy who was great in defense. And anything he does offensively, I told you when it happened, was just, icing on the cake. And so far, I think he has like a 700 batting average with the Braves. I mean, small sample size, but you get my point. Let's see. Captain Spartan. Tyler, I don't know how close you are, but can you tell the Braves to add a card and bobblehead shop in their stadium? I live in Louisville, Kentucky, and the Bats have one and would love for the Braves to have one. They do have the clubhouse store. They don't have a card shop. What I would tell you is go to BP Sports, which is just down the road. I mean, it's like 10, 20 minutes away from the stadium, if that's in Marietta. That's where I go. You see the collection behind me. Anybody that asks me where do I go, that's it. Bob Presley over there has been great to me. But no, there's plenty of card shops to go to in the Marietta area that will also save you $1 compared to what the Braves would charge. Trust me on that. They probably wouldn't want me saying that, but I'm not that close to them. They don't pay me, so I can kind of say what I want for now. Let's see. Based Omen, now live from the Battery in Atlanta. It is the On Deck Show. That's what we're going with. It's the On Deck Show. Let's see. Charles Pruitt says, hey, great game, great series. Appreciate you tuning in. Rivers Teeth, no matter what happens in the playoffs, this will be the season that we broke the entire New York Baseball Collective fan base. And that flag, my friends, will fly forever. I'm with it, Rivers Teeth. I'm with it, specifically for the Mets. You know, the Frank the Tank videos haven't been as good this year. They haven't been near as quality as they were in 2022. What a time that was. But disregard that. But no, I mean, it's been fun to see the Mets kind of diminish as time goes on. We'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens with Pete Alonso. You know, I mean, there's rumors that he's a clubhouse cancer. I don't want to spread anything that's not true, but this is what I keep reading. And then there's rumors that the Mets are just saying that to, you know, get the fan base to understand why they're walking away. I don't know. I'm glad we're Braves fans. I'll just put it that way. Bo Hunter, sure was nice seeing the Braves own the state of New York this week. Absolutely. Let's see. Captain Spartan, they add all the season-long bobbleheads in case you missed the bobblehead game. You can still get it later. I don't know who you're talking to there, sorry. Scooter Puff, if Ozuna and Eddie get as hot as they were in June, we may not lose another game this month. I mean, Ozuna is he's pretty on the money. I mean, he hit a 3-run homer last night, so he's still pretty going. KJ Collins says, impressive pitching tonight. Glad AA was right about Pierce Johnson. Well, that's the thing, right? Anytime you get a guy out of Colorado, his numbers are more than likely going to improve. If they don't improve, you're, you know, there's no helping you in that sense. No, he's been good, and, you know, I would think Brad Hand is going to be just as I haven't seen enough of Brad Hand. I want to see more of him. But, no, I think that they're going to continue to use him until, you know, the wheels fall off. And he's been nothing but good lately, and he's only going to get better, I think, the longer he pitches in Atlanta around this team and around frankly, there's a reason to be successful, which I hate to say that, but in Colorado this year, you know, hard to get motivated to go out there, I would think. Let's see. Derek Smith. Sorry, let me see. Revitalize. The whole lineup can go deep, and it's always a different player who seems to go deep in these close games to get that one knock we need. Rosario is warming up to be the best postseason stud once again. You know, there's just nothing like Eddie Rosario in the postseason. There's just nothing like it. I love it when somebody brings this up because it gives me an excuse to show this video. This is, of course, the NLCS versus the Dodgers. And guys, this is the 3-run shot. This is just what capped it off. He had a great series in that whole series. I mean, you could argue without Eddie Rosario, we don't go to the World Series in 2021. That is why they brought him back. That is what they brought him back for. If he can do it again in 2023, what a moment it will be. All right, let's see. Trinity Clark tunes in and says, what's up, Tyler? Finally, I get to catch a live stream. Well, glad you're here. We didn't really announce this one. We just kind of went on and hoped for the best, but we are here, and glad you are as well. Let's see. Noonie. I think I said that right. Noonie says, my favorite team, the Braves. I love baseball. Well, I do too. Thank you for that. Georgia Bulldog says, not saying that last part, says, shame on Tyler taking a vacation. Well, look, I did it against my will, okay? I'm not one to take a vacation. I had 2 weeks of PTO that I have not touched all year, and they came to me, they're like, look, if you don't take it now, you're probably not going to be able to take it because football season starts next week. So I took a week. I still have a week. We'll see if we're able to use that. But no, it was it was a good vacation. Glad I went. Went to New Orleans and loved it. If you've never been to New Orleans, I suggest you go. Make sure to get the beignets. All right, let's see. Moretti Game says, was at the game. It was glorious to hear the Let's Go Yankees chant drowned out by the hometown crowd. Yeah, that would be pretty entertaining, I think. Let's see. Garrett Clemens says, Charlie's curve tonight was on point. Yeah, it was, Charlie, to me, I gauge Charlie's stuff night to night by how well it shows up on TV, and it was visible. I mean, it looked like MLB The Show tonight. It was moving. I know he struck out Judge on a curve. I mean, he struck out 10 guys. You know your stuff's good when you do that. But when he struck out Judge early in the game, I kind of knew, like, okay, he's back to where he needs to be. I felt good about it. Corey Carter, excited to get Glav, Smoltz, Chipper, and Frenchie back. Maybe we can get Doggy, a.k.a. Greg Maddox, at some point. That would be great, right? Leo Mazzoni was in the house tonight, I saw, from a mutual friend of ours. So they had a lot of good friends in the park tonight. There is something about that era, the 90s, early 2000s that just gives you good feels as a Braves fan. And Chipper, Smoltz, Glav, and Frenchie are my childhood, basically. So it always I take the day off for those games whenever they broadcast. I will probably do the same whenever they broadcast again. Let's see. Richard Davis says, who will be sent down when Lee is ready to come up, which is now. Can't see them leaving him down till September. No, I can't either. Let me look at the Braves 26-man and kind of go from there. I want to say Vaughn Grissom, to tell you the truth, but that said, I mean, you got to have some depth for Ozzie, and even if you sent down Grissom, what happens when Ozzie comes back? What happens when Ozzie comes back? All right, let's see. Yanni Chirinos is an option. I see in the chat a lot of folks want him gone, so he's an option. In terms of bullpen, which I think what you're looking for, you're definitely going to want a lefty. They're not going to send down Joe Jimenez. They're not going to send down Brad Hand. Not going to send down Colin McHugh or A.J. Minter. I mean, you're left with really Kirby Yates, Michael Tonkin, and that's really about it. Yanni Chirinos. So, choose from that list. It's a good question. I see why you asked it because there's not a lot to choose from. None of these guys have been bad. Michael Tonkin, I think, has been one of the most underrated, guys out there pitching for the Braves, at least in the bullpen. He's been a guy they can count on for long relief. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. They're not going to send out a lefty to bring up a lefty, and they're limited in that department anyway. It's going to be tough to say. My guess would be, I want to say Joe Jimenez, but they're paying him so good, and he's pitched well. Pierce Johnson, they just got. That's an option, but I don't know. Maybe they do leave him out till September. Maybe they gauge where the starting pitching is and go from there. I really don't know. I hate to say I don't know, but I don't know. Let's see. Yeah, Garrett Clemens. They've only been shut out 2 times this year. Well, you saw how long I had to scroll, and I still didn't find one. I was in May. So whoever wants to find me the last time the Braves were shut out, I would appreciate it because I'm actually curious. Captain Spartan, who do you think gets the final wild card spots? Well, it's tough to say because it's gonna shift a lot. It's really gonna shift a lot. I think. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Matthew, Tyler, don't you think we should try Grissom out at left field for next season? We can't leave a 320 power hitter in the minors forever. Now I'd hate to trade him, watch him spend 20 years hitting for another team. Well, here's what I would say. We've traded a lot of these guys to other teams, and it has worked out for us. We've traded some of these guys to other teams, and it hasn't worked out for us. I think way back to Adam Wainwright. So May 12th. Thank you, Corey. May 12th was the last shutout. It's mid-July. It's been, 3-4 months since then? That's pretty good. But in terms of trading Vaughn Grissom, I think it's more possible than a lot of people will tell you. I would hate to see it too in a way, but I also would understand it if it got us something that's worth it. But in terms of we can't leave a 320 power hitter in the minors forever, no, we can't. But we can leave a below average fielder in the minors forever. I want you to just consider that, because that's what we're dealing with. It's not his inability at the plate, it's his inability on the field. And I mean that with all the respect. He's a great hitter. I'm glad he's back in the majors. I'm curious to see if he stays up once Ozzy's back, what they do with him. If he comes up big in a few games, maybe it makes a difference. I don't know. Moving into left field, I want to say I was kind of first on that. I said it like last year. Looking at the dynamics of the team, I was under the impression that Dansby Swanson would be back. Sorry. Ozzy's not going anywhere, so what do you do with Vaughn Grissom, right? I didn't think he was ready to take up the mantle at short. He's still not ready to take up the mantle at short. That's why they signed Arcia to a 3-year deal. So you look at it, could he play left field with Rosario leaving? It all depends. Has he ever played left field before? Are they trading him in left field in the minors? I don't know. I would have thought if they were going to trade him, they would have done it at the trade deadline. Maybe you get more for him, in the offseason. I don't know. Maybe the trade just didn't work out. But in terms of, we can't just leave a 320 power hitter in the minors forever. I mean, Vaughn's got to force the issue, right? Riley, didn't exactly have a place in the major leagues. We had Donaldson, and he forced the issue. Vaughn has proven that he can hit. I'm curious to see where his defense is. And I don't know if we'll see it. I don't know if that will happen, but that's what I'm curious to see. I think we've yet to see him hit, right? I mean, I haven't seen him swing the bat yet. So we'll see what happens. That's all we can really say. In terms of trading him, I definitely think it's possible if the right deal comes along. I mean, they don't – I hate to say they don't need him, but like I said earlier, no one's irreplaceable. So especially not someone who's not on the 20 – on the roster currently, or for the year, I guess. He's not a regular. But, we will see. That's all we can really say is we will see. Let me see real quick. Let me see. Sorry, my chat froze on me. Hang on just a second. I hope we're still up, right? I think we're still up. All right, let's see. Well, maybe. Hang on, guys. Technical difficulties. Can't help it. Let's see. All right, here we go. Thank you. My chat froze on me. I still don't know why. Let's see. Let me scroll up. Try to find where we were. Guys, while I'm looking for this, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay updated with everything going on here on deck. And, of course, with your Atlanta Braves. And through the chaos, we do get a Super Chat. Remember, Super Chats do get your priority, which means you get moved to the front of the line, which means we're going to go ahead and answer Johnny T's question. It says, I hate to say it, but the way it looks for Colin the past few weeks, it wouldn't surprise me if he got the courtesy IL to bring up Lee or wait till September. That is a possibility. I was kind of like you. I hate to say it. That's kind of where I'm at. Maybe they send him down. I don't know that with his veteran status they would do that. Maybe it'd be good for him. Maybe he'd be glad to do it. I don't know. They're also paying him a little more than everybody else, it's a factor. So, yeah, I mean, Colin could be the guy. He's certainly the guy on the list that, like, if you're they're bringing him out, that's the guy. Again, as much as I hate to say it, I like Colin McHugh. I think he's been a great asset. It may be the issue of, like so many others this year where they're just overworked. That's not, that's not necessarily something people like to hear, but it very well may be. Let's see. We have a lot of folks in the chat tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate it. Remember, Super Chats are how you get moved up. It's the only way I can narrow this down to put you, first in line. And it does help the channel. Remember, Super Chats do help the channel. Also, while we're here, might as well go ahead and promote myself a little bit. The On Deck shop is open. We have die-cut stickers. We have shirts. We have bottles. We have pennants. We have anything with this logo on it that you could possibly want, plus more on the On Deck shop. The link is down below. The QR code will be on your screen momentarily. And a lot of people were messaging me about the hats. Tyler, something's wrong with the hats. I can't buy the hats. What's going on? So look, I went and fixed it. It's there. The hats are back. I don't know why they weren't there, but we fixed it. Doesn't matter. It's fixed. So go check out the On Deck shop, you can get you a sweatshirt. You can get you, there's the hat. You can go get you a trucker hat if you want one. We have beanies. We have just about anything and everything you can want on the On Deck shop. So go check it out. That is the QR code, and it does stay on your screen pretty much throughout the whole show right over there. But the link is also down below. Also wanted to take a second to thank our friends at FOCO. FOCO has been with us all year long, and guys, they're great. They have bobbleheads. They have all kinds of Braves gear, shirts, clothes, all kinds of stuff. Just go check it out. I mean, room decor. They've given me quite a bit. I meant to grab it before I started, but I didn't. There's a Michael Harris City Connect bobblehead that they gave me. I would get up and go get it, but I can't. I'm pretty restricted to the microphone now. But what I can show you is the spring training bobblehead that they sent me a few months back at the start of the season. Bobbleheads, guys, they're high quality. I mean, you can see this. They're super high quality. I mean, they're well made. Remember, they got all kinds of Brave stuff, and they go out of stock fast. They sell out pretty quickly. They make a limited amount, so if you don't buy it, you don't get it. So go check it out. Remember, the link is down below. Use the code ONDECK10, the number 10. I wish I could put it up on the screen. Sorry about that. ONDECK10, it'll save you 10%. So remember, that code is ONDECK10, and the link is down below for our friends at FOCO. Again, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We're going to be here probably another 30 minutes or so. Get you all the content you can want, maybe a little more. Let's see. Matthew says, Tyler, not to badmouth the Braves. No, we don't do that. He says, but was I the only one surprised how long Snit left Chirinos in during the last game against the Mets? It seemed obvious it would cost the game early, and it did. Okay, well, let's look at it this way. I see where you're going, but you got to have a more season approach, right? You can't have a game-by-game approach. You got to have a season as a whole. The Braves, before tonight, had a 12.5 game lead, so it's either only gotten better or it stayed the same. I can't look at it right now. But they have a 12.5 game lead in the division. They have a little over a month to go. Odds are they're going to win the division. One game is not going to mean the division at this point. Knock on wood, but I think that's where we're at. He probably wanted to do two things. One, see if Chirinos could get out of it, perform a little better, figure something out. Number two, he probably wanted to save his pen because they're the guys that have been overworked in this whole Max Free, Kyle Wright absence. I mean, the whole year they've been overworked. That's not to say that it's going to bother him going further, but he probably wanted to save his pen because they had already won the series against the Mets. They took the first three. Chirinos, if they won Game 4, great, but he probably wanted to save his pen going into this series against the Yankees, which, of course, led to a sweep. Right, guys, they're not going to win every game. And Snit, specifically Snit, understands that it is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Today's game, yes, we want to win. Yes, we want to do it, but we can't do it with three guys. We have to do it with everybody. Everybody has to be involved. And Chirinos right now is a part of everybody, and some folks aren't going to like that mindset. But personally speaking, I think it's the right choice. And when you look at it and you look at how spent the bullpen was, I don't mind it. Did I like Chirinos getting absolutely rocked? No. But do I understand why Snit made the decision? Yes, I do. That's where I'm going to leave it on that. Chirinos needs to go. Yeah, that seems to be the takeaway. I think that's what a lot of folks are saying. You're not alone. I can understand it. And, I think, ultimately, when it comes to the decision with Chirinos, he is a fill-in. A lot of folks are going to say, well, go get Soroka. Well, they went and got Soroka earlier this year. It didn't work out. He did not pitch well enough to stay up, and the Braves don't want to spend all his options, right? They want to make sure he's good to go. It might be time for him to make another start, sure, but where's Kyle Wright? That's my question. When is he coming back? And will he be worth what he was last year? Will he be something, better than he was last year? We'll see. Will he be anywhere close to where he was last year? We will see. Greg Bates, to this point, says, I'm surprised Soroka or A.J. Smith-Shawver is not starting. I can understand that. I don't know where their minor league numbers stand right now. I know Soroka is doing everything he can to come up, but we'll see. Let's see. Bo Hunter, okay, you're asking Matthew a question. Prince Moore says, "What's the score?" I bet Braves 1.5. They won 2-0. Sorry, I thought everybody here would know the score. Is Allard hurt? I think he is. I want to say that I reported that. Sorry, my mind, it's a lot of players to keep track of. I can check. Why not? Let's see. Colby Allard. While I'm looking this up, someone asked about Florida State. Captain Spartan, Tyler, I know you are a Florida State fan. Thanks for outing me. I appreciate that. How confident are you against LSU, and do you want them to join the Big Ten or SEC? No, I don't. The ACC needs some work. I think honestly right now they need to stay in the ACC until they get, Colby Allard's hurt. He's got a 60-day shoulder inflammation. That was a month ago. I knew it had been a while, but I thought I'd reported that. I didn't know where it stood. So he's on 60-day, and that was a month ago. Florida State. Okay, how confident are you against LSU? I think it's going to be a very good game. I think Florida State's going to be better this year than they have been in a long time. Do I think they're national championship level? Absolutely not. Do I think they will be competitive again this year? Yes, I do. Against LSU, I'm not going to pick them to just dominate, but again, I think it'll be a good game. Hopefully they come out on top for my sake, my sanity. But we'll see. Do I want them to join the Big Ten? No. Do I want them to join the SEC? No. They're an ACC school. That's kind of the way I feel about it. We do have a super chat, which means we go to them. Maverick, one of my best super chatters out there, he always super chats, says this season will only be for the Braves to lose. What? But I will say this Braves will win the division. They will also have first round bye in postseason, also in World Series. Thanks, Maverick. No, look. Here's the thing. There's been plenty of teams that get all the way to the World Series. They have great years, and then they lose. We've been talking about this all year long. I absolutely hate the mindset of, well, they'll get there, but then they'll lose. Right? I hate that mindset because they've been your team all year. Right? You got to stay with them. And to be honest with you, the Braves are pretty true to form. Right? Let's say in 2018, we knew where they were. Right? They got to the postseason for the first time in a long time. They didn't win, but they had good moments, right? Acuna's grand slam, that kind of thing. They beat the Dodgers in one game. What a moment it was. Then 2020 comes, and we begin to – that was 2018. 2019 comes. We think they have a great chance against the Cardinals, and then their starting pitching falls apart. I'll just leave it at that. Then you get to 2020, and Soroka gets hurt. Right, you have this weakness at starting pitching, and the trade deadline shut down because of the it's open, but nobody was really moving anything because everybody had a chance in 2020. The Marlins made the postseason in 2020. Let's just keep that in mind. They're good now, but they weren't back then. So my point is, they are who they are when they get to the postseason. Right, last year they beat the Mets. They had a great year, and they were spent. 2021, they flipped it on a dime. We can address that too. But no, I think they are who they are. I don't see this team just going cold and losing the energy. I just don't see that happening. I could be wrong, but I just don't see that happening. Let's see. Matthew, shouldn't the Braves be starting Soroka over Chirinos altogether? Soroka pitched a complete game shutout his last start, same time Chirinos lost, and Soroka struck out 8 in the game before that. He is better. Look, I'm not denying that. What I am saying is I don't think the Braves operate on a game-to-game basis. I just don't think they do. Is Soroka better? Yes. When he's at his best, yes. But they've also already brought him up twice this year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Even if it's once, they don't want to waste his options. If that means they don't bring him up at all this year, that's what it means. Should he be starting over Chirinos? Yes. But could the Braves just be trying to use Chirinos to bridge the gap between the time that Kyle Wright is not here to the time he is here? Think about that. Without wasting Soroka's options. It's just something to think about. Do I think that is the best thing they could do? No. I would love for them to, go and try to win as many games as possible, get Soroka back, all that stuff. I'd love for them to do that. But as Corey Carter points out, they're on pace for 105 wins. The record for the Braves is 106. So my point is they don't necessarily need to push anybody further than what they are capable of for this season. They, at least not for the regular season, right? When the postseason rolls around, a little bit different. But no, I ultimately think Soroka will be back. We'll see. Greg Bates agrees with you. Soroka and A.J. Smith should be up. I think one or the other. I don't know that both of them, but one or the other. Let's see. Oh, A.J. in the bullpen. That's interesting. I don't know that they have a spot for him in the bullpen. It will be easy. It will be interesting to see what happens when the rosters expand, right, in September. Because I think Dylan Lee, if he's not up by that point, will be a part of that. But I also think Soroka could be a part of that. I think Kyle Wright might be a part of that. It'll be interesting. I don't think Chirinos is going to be around forever. So if that eases your mind at all, I mean, I don't see that happening. Tyler, how did we get Lopez for Taylor Hearn? Hearn's baseball reference page will forever list his career Braves ERA as 108. Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You know, funny things happen at the deadline. That's all we can say. I hate it for his baseball reference, but I think he's more concerned with where he goes from here. Lion Man, do the Braves pitching staff lead the league in shutouts? That's interesting. Let's see. Braves pitching staff. Let's see. While I'm searching that, how long is AA going to let Chirinos keep pitching terrible while Soroka is throwing 4-hit complete game shutouts with 1 walk and 8 strikeouts? Guys, I get it. This is Joe Reese asking this, by the way. I understand it, but also realize it's minor leagues. Yes, he's pitching complete game shutouts. Yes, they want to give him every opportunity to, battle and get there. I don't think think about it, right? They're not keeping Soroka down there just to do it. They're not mean-spirited. They want Soroka back. And I think they know that everybody wants Soroka back. I mean, look, the guy, I know how good he is, right? I'm hearing that he's having a complete game. I get all that. It might be a matter of time, right? We might be talking about this and they do it tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe they wait. Maybe they wait for the next time Chirinos is supposed to pitch and they make the move then, right? Maybe give him, a couple extra days rest. They make moves like that in funny ways. So it's tough to say. But I don't think you can look at it from the outside and kind of pick it apart. I just don't think it's fair because they very well might be on the way to, making this move. So we'll see. Time will tell. Soroka obviously would love to be back, and that's all you can really hope for with him is that one day he is back. And, I think until then, we're going to have to count on the guys that we have, and, that being Spencer Strider, Charlie Morton, Max Fried now, Bryce Elder. Those 4 guys carry the load. That's plenty enough, I think, to win the division, which is right now the most important thing for the Braves. And, until that happens, we're going to have to keep an eye on Soroka through the end of the year and just hope for the best. That's all we can really do. And, hopefully we find at some point in the season that Soroka's back to his old self. I think everybody would be thrilled with that, and that's all we can really ask for. I'm looking for this team stat, by the way. I am struggling. If somebody out there wants to Google it for me, and it's hard for me to do and direct and anchor. It's just tough. But if somebody wants to find that information out, do the Braves lead in shutouts as a team, that would be great. I doubt it, though. I would be surprised. Jorge says, "Hey, Tyler, the best Braves team I've ever had the pleasure to watch." I would agree with you for me as well, although me and you both are probably pretty young. Hopefully this team doesn't break us like the 98 Braves did for the previous generations. I certainly hope not. That's the true fear, I think, among Braves fans right now. Hato Mato says, "AA is showing how good he is with a good sneaky trade with Nicky Lopez." I knew when he made that deal. I knew when we were sitting here talking about Nicky Lopez, keep an eye on that guy. Because I wouldn't have thought Jorge Soler would be the World Series MVP. I wouldn't have thought Eddie Rosario would have been the NLCS MVP. I wouldn't have thought Jock Peterson, well, we know what Jock Peterson was going to do. But you get what I'm saying. I wouldn't have thought, about these guys. And then all of a sudden they are. So it'll be interesting to see Nicky Lopez. Maybe he has a big hit. Maybe he, has a moment in the postseason and we can look back at this trade and go, I remember when, right? Gene says, I think the Braves may be hiding A.J. Smith-Shawver until the postseason. Well, I think that depends on Kyle Wright, right? Like, if they have Kyle Wright, there's no sense in bringing A.J. Smith-Shawver up as a starter. But if they want to bring him in for the bullpen, that could be pretty interesting. They kind of did something similar with Strider, didn't they? A few years ago. They brought him in as a bullpen guy. Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, anything can happen. They know what they got with him. Make no mistake. Long relief would be, he'd be a good guy. Let's see. Greg Bates says, this team is better than the 98 roster. I said what I said. I'm gonna keep quiet on that because I know if I agree with you, I'm gonna have a lot of older generations come at me. So I'm not gonna agree with you, but I'll just give you a thumbs up. That's all I can do. By the way, you guys should give me a thumbs up on this video. Please do like it. Please do subscribe. Please do hit the bell for notifications. All that good stuff. Really would appreciate it, and really do appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. You guys are the reason we do this. Without you, this stuff does not happen. There's no point of being here without you guys, the chat, everything else. Remember, Super Chats do get your priority. They do get you put first in line, and that's really all there is to say about them. If you pay the money, we answer you first, and I try to give you a little bit better of an answer than I typically do for regular comments, just because I'm trying to get through them so quickly. But if you pay, yes, I will give you a good quality comment. There is a difference, I promise. Let's see. It has to be a good question, though. If it's not a good question, I can't give you a good answer. Let me see. Jorge says the only thing Mets fans have to look forward in October is the Braves losing. Some have already said it. Yeah, I remember last year when we lost to the Phillies. Ugh, that hurt. When we lost to the Phillies, Frank the Tank just did a video where he basically Emperor Palpatine style laughed at us just maniacally. So they're certainly preying on our downfall, but I would much rather them be preying on our downfall from afar than facing us head to head, to tell you the truth. Let's see. Jacob Dahl, as a Yankees fan, I am so sorry. You guys took it to us and we were awful. Yeah, I think Yankee fans, believe it or not, I think are some of the best fans of baseball. I think Mets fans, to some degree, are the best fans of baseball. New Yorkers love their baseball teams. And the Yankees, for good reason, 27 championships, right? I mean, historically speaking, they have every right to love that team. The Mets, you already know. But no, I mean, the Yankee fans, I kind of feel bad for because the decision-making that has been going on for the past few years, I don't particularly agree with. Yes, you're the Yankees. Yes, you have the Twin Towers and Giancarlo and Judge. But at the same time, just why would you not try to implement some Moneyball tactics? Why not? I just don't get it. Because that's what's making the Braves successful. Not necessarily the Moneyball, but the fact that they implement some of the strategies, right? Alex Anthopoulos, the genius of Alex Anthopoulos is the economical aspect of it. It's not that he's coming out spending all this money, getting all these players that everybody wants. It's that he's going to get players like Nicky Lopez or, just these off-the-wall nobodies, really, and putting them in this team, and all of a sudden they all work together. It's all about making them work together. So, yeah, I appreciate the comment there from Jacob Dahl, Yankee fan. Please do subscribe. I mean, yeah, you're a Yankee fan, but look, I mean, you're already subscribed to John Boy. We all know you do. You might as well subscribe to me. Let's see. Say hello to John Boy. Hato Mato was at the game Saturday night. We had Braves fans chopping at Citi Field. Man, it has gone just so bad for Mets fans this year, and Yankee fans, sorry. Richard Davis says, I think you can only bring up 2 in September. They will probably be pitchers. Lee is not before. If not before, okay. Yeah, I think they'd probably be pitchers. I would assume Dylan Lee. I kind of think Kyle Wright at that point. Maybe you add a starter. Maybe you add Soroka instead of Chirinos if he's still pitching like this. That would be my. I mean, I'm kind of going blind there. I'm trying to give you the best I can. Thank you, Hatomato. Appreciate that. Let's see. Based Omen, and how fire was it that we had both Jocktober and Rosario in the 2021 postseason? Legendary. Yeah, I mean, it was a great time. I hope we have some great times in 2023 too. Jorge, oh geez. Tyler, are you looking forward to the Braves-Dodgers series? I can't wait for Freddie to hammer the Braves again. Why would you say that? All right, I played the Rosario clip earlier. I'm not going to play it again. I was there when we beat the Dodgers in 2021. All right? It's one of my favorite games I've ever been to. I was there when Acuna hit the grand slam against them in 2018. I've had a lot of good moments against the Dodgers. I was also there when Kyle Wright got absolutely shelled in Texas. Okay, we flew out there. It was not a sight to be seen. So I've seen the good and the bad. Am I ready for Braves-Dodgers? Sure. I think it'll be a great series. I think the Braves are in their prime, if that makes sense. The Dodgers, to me, seem aged out. They still have plenty of great talent. I just don't think they don't have that same core like they used to. When you look at their team, yes, I mean, they're great. They're leading the division in the NL West. I get all that. I just think the Braves are the threat, right? The Dodgers used to be where, as a Braves fan, it was like, oh, we got to play the Dodgers. You know, I got to go watch the Braves play the Dodgers. Oh, it's going to stink, right? That's how it used to be. I think most teams are looking at the Braves like that now. I mean, I just, you know, Freddie's a monster, as Greg Bates said. He's a great talent, but he's one guy. You know, I would pick the Braves going into that series, and I might be biased, but, I mean, I would say it confidently that I would think the Braves would win that series. Am I ready for it? Yeah. I say that nervously, but yeah. I'd probably wear my pearls just in case. And yes, I still have them. But no, I would be ready for it. I mean, anybody, we take all comers, right? Let's see. Hey, what's up, Jake? Based Omen. Yeah, Freddie will be hammering. Bo Hunter, my daughter and I ran into Fritchie during the rain delay in Pittsburgh. We got a great picture with him. I'm going to tell you guys a story since we're just all friends here. While I'm doing this, feel free to like the video. Would appreciate that. I got some time tonight. Is it up there? There is a ball right there. That's it. That ball was hit to me and my dad when, I don't know if you can see it, but it's this one right here. Nope. This one right here. I don't want to get it down because it would cause a collapse. That ball was hit to me when I was 10 years old. It was a home run ball hit by none other than Albert Pujols. My dad caught it. Well, it hit his hand. I don't know if he caught it, but it hit his hand, blistered it. A few weeks later, it's signed by about 10 Braves. I couldn't even tell you who all was on it. I think Tommy Hanson, of all people, is on it. Johnny Venters, maybe. But this is just a sign of the times. He came and spoke at a local college here, actually the college I graduated from, Columbus State. And we went, and he signed a ball for me. Back when he was actually, you know, on the cover of Sports Illustrated and all that. You know, he was the guy. And he couldn't have been nicer. And you guys all know who Frenchie is. He's still that way. Anytime I've interacted with him, he's been nothing but nice. And, you know, that moment, meeting him when I was a kid, was huge for me. And, you know, Frenchie's a class act. Absolutely. Most Braves people, to be fair, are. I mean, there's very few people you're going to run across in a Braves organization that really aren't first class. I mean, it's a first class organization. Let me see. Miguel says Braves team looks good. However, I don't trust in the starting pitching. Braves offense looks outstanding, but in playoffs we will need a guy like Grissom. Why not playing Grissom and Lopez? Well, they are playing Lopez. I don't know if you mean why are they not playing Grissom over Lopez? They didn't go get Lopez for his offense. His offense, like I said earlier, is just kind of icing on the cake. They got Lopez for his defense. The dude's a Gold Glover. I mean, if he's not Gold Glover, he's that quality. But I believe he is a Gold Glover. I could be wrong though. But that said, that is what Vaughn lacks. Everybody's always asking, why are they not pulling up? Why are they not pulling up? Vaughn Grissom? Well, it's because of his defense. Nicky Lopez, look on the left. The numbers don't jump off the page. This is before he came to the Braves. Old full screen, but we're going to use it. 300 average in 2021. That was a fluke. Okay, but he's not a Gold Glover, but he's in the 96th percentile in outs above average. They brought him for his defense, and again, that is what Vaughn Grissom lacks. Let's see. Richard Davis can't understand Snit's managing sometimes. Culberson sat on the bench for 2 months before he ever got into a game. Kind of the same with Hilliard. Now they bring up Grissom and he sits on the bench. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, but that's kind of what happens, right? Like, that's kind of why I wasn't for the DH in the National League, for guys like Culberson, who kind of made their living on pinch hitting. And right now with this Braves offense, who are you taking out? Who's the guy that you go, yeah, you're not playing great today? I mean, who do you take out? And when you do, it just so happens to not be Culberson, or it just so happens to not be Hilliard, right? So I don't know what the answer is. They've been going to Pilar a lot, who I like. I don't think it's anything bad, I mean, I don't know what the answer is. Without pitchers hitting, it kind of makes it difficult to use all these guys. But that's my take here. Let's see. Let's see. Dan Plesac said the World Series will be Philly and Toronto. It's an interesting pick. I mean, we'll see. Just put it that way. We'll see. Toronto's a weird pick, to tell you the truth. I mean, Philly I can kind of understand because they got hot at the right time last year. But no, I don't think Toronto and Philly will be the World Series. Let's see. Trinity Clark. Hey, Tyler, do you think we're going to re-sign Max before free agency? With the money coming off the books, I think they'll have a bit of an opportunity. I see you, Corey. I think they could have a chance, but it's tough. It's just tough. A lot of you guys in the chat tonight really do appreciate it. I'm going to skip down, go to Kevin Crispian. I think I said that right. Is Jesse Chavez close to coming back? The Pen could always use an inning eater. I was at the game in Detroit when Miggy hit him in the leg with a line drive. I don't know if he's close to coming back yet. I mean, he is a little older. It might take him a little longer. I would expect him to be back fairly soon, but I don't know where you put him. We kind of looked through the bullpen earlier. You think he's going to get a spot. Maybe it is Colin McHugh. I don't know. But in terms of being healthy, I think he's probably on his way back, sure. J.M. John. Honestly, I think Chirinos was a mistake to claim, period. He wasn't pitching better than Soroka at the time, and he sure hasn't proven he can even eat innings as well. Just a gamble Double-A made and this lost. Sure, but on the go, CeeLo makes an interesting comparison. He's like Odorizzi. It just didn't really work out, but it's also not over yet, so I don't want to say it just didn't work out because what if he pitches what if he pitches in LCS Game 1, right? So it's tough to say. He's expected to pitch Saturday. It'll be interesting to see if they make a move prior to that. I mean, it is only Wednesday, so maybe they do make a move. Maybe they're just trying to give Soroka a couple extra days. I don't know the ins and outs of the minor league, so don't hold me to that. But, we will see. Let's see. Corey Carter does make a good point. Rays are in a heated battle, and they released Chirinos, so that says something. I think, but to that point, it's also they're in a heated battle, but they weren't exactly lacking starting pitching. With McClanahan getting hurt now, they may want Chirinos back, but we'll see. Will, Soroka did fine when he was called up. Why do they keep sitting him down? Looks like he's at Mississippi or Rome or something. Sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, guys, everybody has a tough time getting to the big leagues, okay? Soroka has a lot of questions surrounding him, coming back from injury, that kind of thing. Maybe they're just saving him. I hate to say that. Maybe they don't, I don't know what the answer is, to tell you the truth. A lot of folks are asking about Soroka. I'd be curious what Alex Anthopoulos would have to say, but, I'm kind of, I don't know. I hate to say it, but I really don't know with Soroka. I mean, he's done all he can do. He's given the results they want. I don't know. I think at this point it's kind of just a wait and see. And you guys aren't going to want to hear that. I understand that. But I think at this point that's really all there is we're going to have to wait and see what happens. And if he continues to pitch like this, he will be up at some point. I don't know when that some point will be, but they aren't going to leave him down there if they think he can, be successful in the big leagues and help the team win. They aren't going to do it. So do they think he can do it in the postseason? That's the biggest question, I think, at this point. Because the Braves, one way or another, are going to the postseason. So we will see. Columbus High School. Hey, everybody. They're just down the street from me. Columbus High Blue Devils baseball. I think they are tied with Cleveland at 13 shutouts. Thank you for that. Yep, 13 shutouts. Yeah, so they're tied with the most. Is that right? So that says a lot with our pitching staff. As much as, we want Soroka back. There you go. A lot of you guys commenting tonight. Wow, okay. Let's see. Corey Carter, I saw 98. This team is the most talented I have ever seen, but October is what counts the most. Well, that's the thing, right? That's what that's what it's going to come down to. We'll see what happens. And all you can hope for is a chance to have a postseason. The Braves have done an excellent job at ensuring their chance. Corey Carter, with how Ozuna is hitting, we are through the worst of the contract. Next year is the last year, and there will be no such thing as a bad one-year deal. Yeah, absolutely. I think he's earned his money back. I definitely think the tough road is behind us. You hope it doesn't revert back in the offseason, but I definitely think that he has been more true to what the Braves thought they were getting. And, Ozuna has gotten plenty of criticism over the past few years from media, from myself, from fans. He has dealt with it all with a smile too, and I try to always be fair, and we only know what we see. We don't see him behind closed doors, and everybody within the clubhouse says he's a great teammate, and that's really all you can hope for. All we ever see is, him working hard. That's all they ever say, right? So when it comes to Ozuna, I think ultimately we're at a point now where 2022 Ozuna is irrelevant. I want to know what he's doing in 2023. I want to know what he could possibly do in 2024. All is forgiven, right? I think after so far this year, he's back to not only being a part of this team. I tweeted the other day. I don't know if any of you saw it. By the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, sorry, wrong side. Go check out Twitter. I tweet occasionally. Instagram's also, we post some there. I tweet when we're going live, that kind of thing. But go check that out. But I tweeted the other day, can we bring back the selfies? If you don't know what I'm talking about, you haven't been a Braves fan for that long. Ozuna used to run around, after he hit a homer, he'd go to first and he would take a selfie like you would. I'm for bringing back the selfies. Can we do that? Can we bring back the selfies? All is forgiven. He is a part of this team. I'm for it. Bring him back. That's my soapbox for the day. Johnny T. Okay, this is a pretty good question. Do you believe in rest or rust? I hope we figured out a better game for when we get the first round bye. I think Winans gets the call. He hasn't been bad. I think ultimately, in rest or rust, it's an interesting argument. I think it depends how your team does, right? Because if you had asked me this in 2022, if you had asked me this last year, I'd be like, no, we want to get right back in there and play. I think it's a disadvantage. But at the same time, I was the one going, yeah, win the division so we can get, so I don't know that it has that big of an effect. The players some probably like it, some probably don't. I don't know what's better and what's not. I think it's a team-by-team basis. I certainly would hate to see the team, super hot at the end of the season and then have to take a week off. I don't know that I would love that, but it's tough. It's tough. Johnny T with the super chat, really do appreciate that. Going to scroll back up, try to answer some more questions. Let's see what we got here. Okay, I lost my spot. All right. Matthew says, scientists have proven that Gary Sheffield's baseball experience has already given him the equivalent of a doctorate in mathematics from MIT. The chef said it, though, so we all love Chef. Yeah, I mean, Sheffield was quite the hitter. I mean, if anybody deserves a doctorate degree in hitting baseballs, it's the guy who's 50-something years old still raking with a cigar in his mouth. If you've never seen that video, look up Gary Sheffield's cigar in his mouth. Just saying. Columbus High, Blue Devils baseball. Yankees fans are realistic. Mets fans aren't, and they concentrate on us too much. Both are passionate. No baseball for the most part. I can agree with that. Yankees fans, they act like they've been there before because they have, right? That's the joke. Let's see. Yeah, Steve Avery, my dad always talks about, I wasn't alive, and there's no video of this that I found. My dad always talks about Steve Avery's pickoff move, right? Everybody talks about Max Fried's pickoff move. My dad swears that Steve Avery had the best pickoff move in MLB history. So, we'll see. Corey Carter, Ron Gant is my favorite player ever. He moved from second to center. Grissom can move from short to left. I don't disagree. I really don't. Like, I was one of the first looking at the way the team was going with, you have, in theory, Dansby and Ozzie. There's not a spot for him in the middle infield. If you want to keep him and he's young and he's talented and he can hit, put him in left. I just haven't seen any, I haven't seen any drive from the Braves to make that happen. They haven't played him in left. They haven't worked with him in left. Wash was working on him with the infield in the offseason and in the early season, which is where this video is from. I just don't know that I've ever seen any kind of the Braves provide any kind of context for that to happen. As much as I hate to say it, I just haven't seen it yet. If it does happen, say you heard it here first. Mark Narmore, hey Tyler, let's not beat our chests in August. Lots of baseball to play. 98 Braves were loaded and choked. I'm with you. You missed the first part of this. I'm right there with you. I'm not going to say this is the best team until they win a World Series. But there are a lot of folks saying it. A lot of folks with a lot more following than myself. Ben Verlander is the main one that said this is the best Braves team there are. Corey Carter, Charlie Leibrandt. You should hear what my dad says about Charlie Leibrandt. I'll leave that alone. He did have a lot of heart. Mark Wohlers. Matthew says, Tyler, is it just me or has Olson surpassed Freddie? Does Freddie have over 105 RBIs? Nope. Does Freddie have 43 home runs? Never. How many Gold Gloves? Multiple for Olson and 0 for Freddie. Freddie who? Okay. I never liked talking about this whole Freddie Olson debate. By the way, I will say that Olson did have a great interview the other day, and he spoke about Freddie and how friendly they are, and that's kind of how I like to present it because I definitely think it is. Do I think Olson surpassed Freddie? No, I think they're two different players. I think they're two very different players. Freddie is also second in batting average right now, I think all across Major League Baseball. Acuna's third, Arias is first, at least as of yesterday. So I think they're two different players. I think they play the game a little differently. I think the key difference between the two, playing-wise, is that one of them hits homers and RBIs, and one of them is a guy who comes in, plays every day, and has a good average, has good at-bats, and is a good player, right? And that's Freddie Freeman. Olson is having a terrific year. That said, I'm not one to go Freddie who. That's just not me. I think the key difference in why what happened, is we'll learn hopefully one day. I'll just put it that way. But in terms of Freddie and Olson, I think it worked out for both teams. I think the Dodgers are still playing and competing, but I think the Braves went for somebody younger. If you can't have Freddie, Olson's who you want, and that's what happened. That's my take on it anyway. Guys, please do remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're not going to be on too much longer, trying to answer as many questions as we can. Get your super chats in. That is the way to go ahead and just get your questions in and get them answered. let's see. I'm not talking about court stuff. Let's see. Oh man, a lot of folks talking about the debate. Is this the best Braves team ever? I would encourage you to check out the first few minutes of this. I'm probably going to clip it, make it its own video, and just kind of edit it together and put it out there again maybe tomorrow. But I would encourage you to check that out and just take my take on it and go from there. I think we are going to go ahead and wrap it up on that note. Chris Kaysen, thank you for tuning in. Johnny T, thank you for the super chats. I believe it was Maverick with the other super chats. Thank you for those. Really do appreciate it. Thank you guys for liking the show. Really do appreciate that. It helps get it out there. We're growing fast. We're near to 5,000 subscribers. That is solely because of you, so thank you for that. If you're new and you're still watching, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help us grow, and we would love for you to be a part of the On Deck community. Also, do want to send a shout out to On The Go with CeeLo. He has been in the chat. I've seen him here and there. He allowed me to come on his show tonight. Really do appreciate that. Join the show. Gave my thoughts on a couple of things. Go give his channel a follow if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you have. Go check him out. He does great stuff. If you like to watch the Braves, you can watch just about every game alongside CeeLo. If you're ever in a tight spot and you need somebody to give you play-by-play, he can do it. So please do check that out. He also covers NASCAR, basketball, football. So we're just getting ready for football season, so it's a great time to go subscribe to CeeLo as well. But please, 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 before you go, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with everything going on here at On Deck. And, of course, go check out the On Deck shop. We have anything and everything you could ask for with an On Deck logo on it. Pennants, stickers, shirts, sweatshirts, anything you could want. Bottles. We have hats now. All of you guys wanted a ball cap. I gave you a ball cap. But the link is in the description below, and the QR code is right over there. So multiple ways to get there. Go check that out. And with that, I'm going to pause. Corey Carter says, get back on the Falcons bandwagon, Tyler. We'll see. We'll see. I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, on that note, thank you guys again for tuning in. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so that you are notified when we go live, when we drop new videos, all that good stuff. We're growing this as quickly as we can. We're working towards putting this in podcast form. I don't know when that'll be, but I am working towards it. So if you like podcasts, pretty soon there will be an On Deck with Tyler Redmond podcast. So make sure to be around for it. So please do that. But again, like the video, sub to the channel, and of course, hit the bell for notifications so that you can stay up to date with everything we have going on here at On Deck. With that note, we'll see you later.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.